Hello everyone, I'm sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I suddenly realised that the clock on the wall, although I adjusted it the other day when the time changes, I obviously didn't make a very good job of it. So anyway, I'm here now. This morning was a bit chaotic because I had to take my husband to the airport. He's just flown off to San Diego to see our son, which is nice for him. I'm sure the weather there is a lot better than the mizzly drizzly rain that we've got here at the moment. So anyway, he's on his way now, so he's only got 10.5 hours in flight, so it's not too bad, I should say. Okay, so before I kick off today, I just wanted to share two quick things with you. First off, the starter kit offer. I don't know whether you've seen it up on my blog and up on Facebook and Instagram, but for this month, ending on the 30th of November, there is an absolutely amazing offer where you can choose £130 worth of goodies. That's entirely up to you what you want to choose, and you pay £75 for it, so that's 50 odd pounds worth free, which is absolute bargain. Really too good to be true, but it is true. It's not an error or anything. So yeah, £75 for £130 worth. So, and it ships to you for free. So if you'd like any more information, then get in touch. You can email me or contact me through Facebook and private message me. So that was the first thing. And then secondly, there is a seasonal sale coming. It starts, I would say, on the 16th. All the flyers say the 16th, but for us in the UK, because we are linked to the European website, and they are an hour ahead of us. So midnight there is actually 11 p.m. on the 15th from us. So for us, it's 3 days starting at 11 p.m. on the 15th and ending 10:50. Weird time, I know, but that's when the clocks switch over and decide it's another day on the website, until 11:50 on the 18th. And the sale is actually, it's all, I was going to say all cardstock, but that's not quite true, because for some reason the normal basic white's not on the flyer, so I've actually put a call into the demo support to find out what's going on, whether or not that is correct. So there's 10% off cardstock, there's 15% off the classic ink pads. So those are the ink pads that Stampin' Up produce. And there are 20% off dies. So I'll show you very, very quickly. So in the catalogue, you will find all the cardstock and the inks. You will find on page 122 and 123. So all the colours, both the A4 cardstock and the A4 cardstock and the classic Stampin' pads are on sale. And then also on sale are the very vanilla and cardstock. And then you will also find the shimmery white and the 12x12s, so that all the colour families and the 12x12s are all in the sale. And then with, what did I say, 10% off the cardstock and 15% off the ink. And then you will also find all the dies. So starting on page 157 of the annual catalogue. So this is everything that's in the annual catalogue. So starting on page 157, which show the bundles. So the bundles are not on sale, just the dies themselves. So starting from there, where it just goes across the top, the middle there, the dies. So all of those, all of these dies, all of these, and then also on page 162 onwards, the ticks, and it doesn't mean that I've got them as much as I would like to have had them all, but I don't. The ticks, actually that one should have a tick as well, because I was just going through and making sure that they were on the flyer. So all of these two are in the sale. So all the dies have 20% off. And again, it's just those that are in the annual catalogue. So for those of you who are looking to start collecting the dies, or those of you who want to add dies to your collection, then this is a great opportunity to get the ones that are on your wish list. I have a couple, like I want to get the iconic because I don't have that, and the mushrooms and the bird and the flowers are so cute, and I can think of lots of things that we could do with those for cards in the cuppa. Today I'm just going to share some simple Christmas cards. So I don't know how you guys are doing with your Christmas card making. I'm kind of doing okay, but I guess that's primarily because I've been doing classes and card in a cuppa and things like that, so I've got a good head start on my Christmas cards. But that doesn't mean I don't want to make any more, because I still have quite a few to go. So I've just grabbed a sheet of the double-sided paper from the Whimsy and Wonder Christmas pack. So you'll find this in the July to December catalogue. So I've just grabbed that. I've also grabbed the Holly Jolly Wishes stamp set, because I'm going to try and keep these as simple as possible. I'm going to use the paper as my background, and I'm going to use the sentiments then to mainly decorate. In addition to that, I've got three of these are my go-to dies. So we have the Stitch So Sweetly dies, which are a mixture of scallop rectangles and various other shapes. So these are quite good because they all sit within each other, which is nice. So I use these quite a bit, and I'm sure you've seen them on a lot of my cards and things. These are the Tasteful Labels, I want to say. I should know the name of them because I do use them a lot. Yes, Tasteful Labels. So again, these are, some of them are stitched, some of them are embossed. So I think you can tell from here which ones are the stitched ones. So you have some circles that sit within each other, and then other stitched ones. So you've got a little banner and things like that. And then these cut and they also emboss a frame. So those are really good, and another of my go-to. And then the circle dies, which I also use quite a bit. So these are the layering circle dies. So obviously they do layer, it's just that I've been doing things with them, so they've got themselves into a bit of a tangle. So I'm just going to use those today, and then I'm keeping it simple because I'm using this paper. So I have Mossy Meadow, and Basic Grey, and also Mint Macaron. I know my Mint Macarons are the old style ink pads, but they're still good. I still use mine. So I've got those three. So all these three will be in the sale. All of the dies that I've shared with you will be in the sale. And then I've got some thick, excuse me, thick basic white. And it's really up to you. You can make your cards out of basic white or coloured cardstock. As I said, I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to make, let's see, I'll make 4 cards at the moment and see how we get on from there. I know I was a bit late in coming on. I'm going to start, just going to make some very basic cards. So if you take your sheet of A4, remove any other bits that you happen to have in your trimmer. So I'm going to cut these in half. So it's A4 that I'm cutting in half to make an A5, and then when we fold them we will make an A6 card. So I'm cutting in half of, we can cut it at 14.9, I'm actually doing it at 14.85. And then I'm going to score it with my, so the dark blade is for cutting and the lighter grey blade is for scoring. So I'm just going to score that in half, like so. Do that, and then I'm actually then going to do, so those are going to be portrait, And then I'm also going to make 2 landscape, which means I'm actually going to cut it in half this time. So I'm going to have the short edge at the top, and I'm going to cut it in half at 10.5 centimetres. So it's just cutting it the other way around, and then this time I'm going to score it at 4.85. Move that out of the way, otherwise I do have a habit of cutting by mistake. You really don't need to do that. So those are my 4 cards. Now the paper, it's 12 by 12 and it's double-sided, so you can actually get 6 card fronts out of this very easily. So for my 2 portrait cards, they are 10.5 by 14.8, 14.9. So I'm going to cut it so that my paper is 10 centimetres wide. So there'll be a little gap around, and then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut it at 14.4. Like so. So that's one piece, and then 14.4 again. That's another piece. That's a little bit of spare. So those will go quite neatly on here, as you can see, like so. And then these ones are obviously, this time I'm going to want them to be wider when I cut it. So this time I need to cut them at 14.4. When I say you can get 6 out, that's assuming you're going to cut them all the same way, and I want to cut them at 10. I'm just being a bit difficult so that you can see how it looks, be it portrait or landscape. I mean, and you would easily get another piece out of another card front out of that. So if you do it the way I'm just doing it, it will be you could get 5, but normally just cutting them like this, you would get 1, 2, 3, and then another 3. So you get 6 in total. So that's those 2. As I said, I just want to keep them simple. Now, I also want to cut something to go on the inside. So I'm just going to cut a couple of pieces that are 1.5 centimetre wide. It's like that. And I want them to be, I'm going to make them slightly longer than I need, because it's always easier to trim it than it is to try and stick on a bit. So I'm just going to cut them at 15. That's 15 centimetres, not inches. So those 2 bits will go on the inside of my portrait cards. And then I have this piece, which is let's see, you know what I'm going to have to do? Because of that, I'm going to then turn this one over and I'm going to use the reverse side, because I do need slightly longer pieces. So again, it's going to be 1.5. No, actually, you know what? I could use that. That would be, but I could actually use that. Put my brain in gear. 1.5, and then these ones only need to be 10.5 centimetres wide, so I'm going to make them 11. So these bits will go into the landscape cards, like so. Don't need those bits. So that's all that bit of cutting that I need to do at the moment. And I'm really hoping that this is the right way round. But I can't actually see it at the moment. So I'm hoping that it's live. I think it is. Bring them on camera. Oh, okay. No, that's just a message to me. So I'm just standing up and reading what it said. So that's those are those 2 cards. These are the 2 bits that are going to go on the inside. Those are the 2 bits for those ones. Like so. That's a bit of scrap, but you can use that side. If it's not wide, it's going to have to go that way because of the way the trees are. So you can just use the other side, so that's fine. So that's those done. Right, now bring back my sentiments. So as I said, I've got the Holly Jolly Wishes, and these are really nice because they're a real mixture of more traditional sayings, and then also you've got things like the jingle all the way, fa la 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 la, and have a jolly holly, holly jolly, jolly holly, and things like that. So this is quite a good mixture of sentiments to put on a card, and it's really up to you as to how you want to do it. Now, as I said, I'm going to keep mine simple, and for that I am going to use my scrap. One thing about having classes and things is that I do kind of accumulate and do preparation for card and the covers. I do tend to have an awful lot of scrap, and when people come to classes and they say, oh, I need a sentiment, can I just change it out, and can I get a piece of card? I just say, go look in the scrap box, because there will be so much in there. So I want some fairly large pieces, but not so large that they're not going to go through the die cutting machine. Whoops, let's take that bit off. And as you can see, I've done all sorts of things with these because it's got some stitching on it. So I shall use that piece. I should have prepped this, but I wanted you to actually see that I do actually use up all my bits and pieces. There's another piece, I think. That will be fine. So I've got enough there, I think. I don't even know that I will need that. I'll put that to one side. And I'm just looking at that. I think first one we're going to do, I'm going to do this really nice Merry Christmas to You. I'm going to grab that crab block. And if you want to see how these look on various dies or punch shapes, so this is one of the Tasteful Label dies. So you can see, first of all, I would suggest you check on the bottom of the box to make sure it doesn't say that the image is at 90% or 50% or whatever, because otherwise what I'm showing you now would be a bit of a waste of time. So I know, for example, that will fit quite nicely into that particular framelit. Would it fit in there? See, it wouldn't fit in there. It'll lop off that. But the other option to do is to put it in a circle. Now that one's not quite big enough. That one is, so you could stamp and then die cut it. And then the nice thing about these is that you can mix and match them. So if I had that one and that one, I could have it so that that sits on there and you have a bit of a different colour or whatever sticking out. So, oh, similarly that one. But I'm going to use that particular shape. So I know that wherever I stamp it, I need to be in the kind of in the middle of my piece of cardstock. So ink. Now I know I put it somewhere on the dies. So let's see. This one I'm going to go. Because I don't want to go black. So I'm going to use my mint macaron because there's a lot of mint macaron on that paper. So I'm going to go on here. My ink pen might need re-inking. It's still faded in the bottom, but has actually quite a nice ombre effect. So I'm not going to be too worried about it. So as you can see now, that will fit in quite nicely. Obviously you want to make sure that it's straight. That's one of the reasons I say normally that you would want to stamp on your cardstock and then die cut it or punch it, whatever it is that you're using, simply because you can then make sure that things are straight. So I'm just going to use my little Stampin' cut and emboss machine. Don't need that, but I do need. So I need my main. But where are we? I need a plate number 1 because I'm doing some die cutting, and then I need my 2 clear plates. And if you haven't seen these before, it does actually share with you what folders work with which actual plate. So I don't need those because I'm not doing any embossing, but I do need that one. And it would help if you actually put the clear plate on as well. Now actually, let's see, I'm going to put it, because I need a bit of crank the handle and see which way this is going. I've got myself into a bit of a tiz here because I've got, this has gone a bit shadowy. This is what I could do with some saying left, right. So if this is not quite straight, apologies. I will do it again, but another time. So that should have cut that. So I don't know if you can see when I was saying that this cuts, and it also gives like an embossed edge. So I really like that effect. I probably could have done a slightly better job cutting it, but oh well. So that's that one. Let's put that there for a second. So we put this on here, or if we wanted to, we could put it also set onto a circle. We could put it onto quite a large circle. No, maybe not. What was that circle I had here? You would kind of lose it on that, so maybe we won't do that. So I've got a Merry Christmas to you. I've got that, and then obviously you can add some ribbon if you want to. I am actually going to add some ribbon, and I've got some of this metallic mesh, which is really quite sweet, and I'm just going to run some around the front of the paper, and you can fold it to make it sort of thicker or whatever. So I'm just going to do that, and obviously it's up to you where you want to put your sentiment. I'm just going to quickly put a piece on the back too, on the back here, just to hold it, because I'm not going to put it and tie in a bow or anything. I just want that to be held by it. God, taking shortcuts today, using the scissors. What's that? Sorry for any pings and pops that's going on. My laptop seems to be, even though I put it supposedly on silent. So I'll put that around, whoops, like so. I'm not too worried about fixing it in the middle because the sentiment will hold it down. And then I just need some glue. I've treated myself to a new pot of glue. Hopefully I'm not sitting here shaking it, trying to get it to go to the end. I do have some that are really coming to the end of their days. So I'm going to add this to the front, like so. And so that will go on top there. So you won't see much of it, but it's enough to make it, add a little bit of interest to it. And then I need my dimensionals, which, as usual, they disappear. No. Well, I had a whole new pack that I got out, and I've put them somewhere. Oh well, I think I'll get used to that one. Okay. I do not really want to be sitting here with little ones. Drive everybody nuts with watching me using those. So I'll just put 4 on here, because I don't really need any more than that, simply because This is not really going to have any weight on it. Come on. Just stick it. And then that's going to go on here. Like that. So that's one card. Obviously I need to finish it off slightly because I have the piece to glue in the middle. Glue that on the inside of the card. Put that right against the edge. It goes slightly over at the top, but just need to trim that off. As I said, it's much easier to trim off than to try and make up the gap. Trim that one off just so it's nice and neat. So there we go, so that's one. Probably if I use my bone folder on this, it would lie flatter. Should do it that way. Fingers are good, equally as good. Okay, so that's the first one, and then obviously if you can add some Rhinestones. These are the holiday Rhinestones. Like these because they're coloured, and I don't have to colour them using my Stampin blends. And there are Night of Navy, I would say like Pool Party, a garden green type, red, and then we've got a yellowy gold. I'm just going to use, I don't know, might put two on, put one on there, and I'll put one on there, that way, just to finish it off. So that's the first card. And then obviously, if you wanted to, you could do them all the same. I'm sure people do, well, I know my family look at each other's cards that I've sent them and they get a bit upset if they've got the same, but quite frankly, friends and stuff like that, if I've made 10 of them, then they might go to 10 people that know each other, but I don't have a problem with it. Right, so what else can we do? I think I'm going to go, the next one I'm going to do is 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly, so that's a much smaller image to stamp and everything. So I'm going to, again, stamp it onto my white. And I'm going to use the, next time I'm going to go for the Mossy Meadow, which is a bit of a darker colour. So I've just inked it. I'm just double checking that I haven't got any bits on the edge because I really don't need to be messy on this one. I just want to be quick, simple. So I don't know about that one. Actually, where are my circles that I put out? I'm going to do this in a circle. About the right size, I think. The nice thing about circles, you don't really have to worry about it being too straight up, as long as it's kind of in the middle, because obviously it's a circle and you can just simply turn it around. It's always quite funny when we're stamping in class and someone gets really upset because they think when they stamped it and then come to die cut it that it won't look very good, and it's like, well, no, it's a circle, so it won't really make any difference whether it's left or right, as long as the actual image is in the middle, then it's fine. And that one I'm going to do like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get those Tasteful Labels out again and see. So this one will fit on quite nicely on the middle of that, I think. Yes, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to die cut a piece of coloured cardstock for that to sit on. I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow. And the other thing you could do is you could in fact emboss and then die cut. So there's lots of things that you could do with this just to add interest. So as you can see, this has got some faux stitching around the edges. Move that out of the way again. So now I've got my sentiment, I've got my other piece here, and you can add to it. So you can add banners, all sorts of things. So as I said, I want to keep this simple. Now this one, I think I might actually go with it in the centre here. And in fact, actually looking at it, I might just need something else on this, like a piece of mint macaron. So maybe I will do that. So what I'm actually going to do is get my scrap mint macaron. And I am going to cut 2 of these. As you know, I can get away with just cutting 1. And I'll show you a neat trick. Many of you will probably know this trick. It's one that I use in class all the time. It's a great way of adding some interest, but also it's quite frugal when it comes to the cardstock. So this little die cut. This is where everything's going to go and land on the floor. So I've got that one piece which ties in with that on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. If you just simply cut it in half like that, you're then going to fix 1/2 on one side and the other half on the other side. And then obviously you can then put that in the middle. So again, it's just a great way of using scraps, a way of adding some extra interest, and it doesn't require too much. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's glue this on. On. If you find you have little bits of paper sticking out, and if you've got the old glue erasers, which kind of look like a bit of a biscuit, like this, then actually it's really good for getting those little bits off. And it works on your card too. So if you just want to neaten up those bits. Sadly, we don't do them anymore. I can't believe that. They used to have them, but then they stopped. Now, how much dimension do I want to add to this? You know what? Don't necessarily normally do it this way around, but I just want to make sure that I have them where I want them. So if any of you are thinking about joining the Acorns, I would love to have you on board with us. I'm just about to go on, what's that go? It's sadly online again for another year. Wish it was in person, but it's just not to be again this year. So I'm just about to start the on stage at home, which any Stampin' Up! Demonstrator is able to attend. So some of my team are coming. So, and they're coming over on, some of them are coming over on Saturday, so that we can do the stamping experience together, which is going to be fun. But it doesn't matter the reason for joining Stampin' Up, and anybody is invited to attend the on-stage events. There is no discrimination whether or not you're doing it as a business or whether you are simply doing it so that you can save on your purchases, because one of the biggest perks is the discount you get. So I'm just going to put that in the middle, like so. I think it needs some rhinestones again, but I think this time I'm going to stick some plain ones on. I think I might need to get some more. I'm just going to keep to the little ones this time, and I might put a couple on each side. I know sometimes it doesn't work doing odd numbers, but I don't think it will work on this, but I quite like the even numbers. So other than I need to put this bit in the middle, which I will do now, that will be card number 2 done. And I will do, just trying to see how much time. I do try and keep this to like 35-40 minutes, so we've got a couple more minutes. It's that, so that can come off. So that's 2 cards. Don't know where I buried the first one. There it is. So that's 2 that I've made so far. Third one, let's see. There's nothing to say, of course, that you can't actually use the designer series paper to make your label. So in fact, I think I might do that for the next card, and then you can stamp directly onto it. I just need to figure out where I put my scrap. There we go. Oops. So there's a piece of scrap. I'm going to go do it with this one this time. And what sentiment are we going to use? And by the way, I'm talking to you guys. I know you can't answer me, but that's my excuse. I'm not really talking to myself. I think I'm going to use the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas, which is that one. So let's get this out and see which fits best. Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. Oh, that would be quite nice, because that kind of meets it directly. Or that one's not going to work. Maybe we just do a circle. Right. So I just need to cut a circle out of this. This is where I find it won't quite go through. So I'm just to one side measuring it to make sure that I'm making it wide enough for the circle, but not so wide that it won't actually fit through the small Stampin' cut and emboss machine, because obviously this just makes it so much simpler. It's so much lighter to carry around, and I don't jog the table quite so much as if I was using the big one. I'm sure it's still jiggling around, but okay. So oops. The other thing is that it will dig into the. Ooh, that's it. So that's that. And then obviously I could then cut a larger circle from that colour, or another colour. I think I am going to use, do I use that one or that one? Don't know. Holly Jolly, what's that one? That one. This is one where I probably regret doing it this way. If I'm regretting already thinking about this. We'll see. We shall see, and I'm going to do that this time in the basic grey. You can use basic grey, smoky slate. Smoky slate's more of a silvery colour, but I had this to hand, and it should be able to see it slightly better on here. Sorry if my head was in the way then. Yeah, have a holly jolly Christmas. Better let that dry for a second. I can see it sitting on the top rather than going inside, into it I should say. Have a holly jolly Christmas. And then I'll quickly just put that through as well. Down completely. Hope so. I think I'll make this my last one for today. I'll make up the fourth one. So this will just have a very small little scallop edge. So I'm just going to glue that on. So that's going to go on there. Yeah, obviously, if you want to have a larger circle around it, you can. So we're going to glue this on quickly. So yeah, so don't forget, starter kit, £75 for £130 worth of goodies, ships free, which is great. That means you then got a discount ongoing if you want to do this as a business. Then that's entirely up to you. If you just want to join to get the discount on your future purposes, again, that's entirely up to you. I have to admit, I did actually just join for the discount originally. Doesn't mean everybody who joins for discount ends up doing this, but most of my team actually are happy shoppers. They just joined because they wanted the discount, and 7 years later, 5 years later, a few of them have been with me for quite a while. Yeah, they're still there, which is nice. We've got a really nice group of people. We have fun. Of course, chaos at times, but there's usually a naughty corner. They'll probably hate me for saying that, but yeah. Okay, so that is my third card. And then the other thing is obviously the sale on the starting late night on the 15th, going through to late night on the 18th, with your 10% off cardstock, 15% off ink, and 20% off dies. So it's for those of you who've been crafting for a while, love the Stampin' Up colours. It's a good opportunity to build up your supplies of your cardstock and your ink, and obviously your dies. If you're just starting out, then cardstock and ink always good. You can add them to your starter kit at the discount, so that means that your £130 worth of goodies actually all go stretch a bit further. So there you go. So that's my third card. And again, I think I'm going to, actually I'm just going to stick with one this time. Just going to put that down the bottom. So 3 very quick, very simple cards, just some double-sided paper and some cardstock, some different dies. So I've used the layering circles and I've used the Tasteful Labels. Both of those are in the sale. So if there's anything that you would like from the sale, then you can either shop online, or if you email me, I can then send you an invoice for your order, and then I can place the order for you. It's really up to you. So those are the 3 cards. Obviously I still have stuff cut for my 4th, so I will do that in a minute, and then I'll post photographs of the finished cards up on the Facebook page. If you're coming to Card and the Cuppa next week, great. Don't forget, if you haven't ordered your kits for December, then closing will actually be next Wednesday. So that's a week today. So don't forget, and I will see you there. If not, I will see you next Wednesday afternoon for the virtual Card and a Cuppa. So take care, everyone, and have a good week. Bye.